Hello, YouTube. Luigi here. I'm going to try not to cough at you because I got a frog in my throat or something. We're going to talk about conical roofs. This should be a really short one. Conical roofs are an old way of shedding water. Here you see one that probably exists in, something like the African bush. It's a thatch roof, very nicely executed on a sun-dried clay brick round foundation. Looks very nice, doesn't it? Nothing new here. These have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. The Eskimo igloo is not a conical roof, it's a domed roof, so we're not going to talk about that. But that's another old style. Here's a conical roof on a turret. We see these a lot on houses. This is pretending to be Victorian houses or Tudor houses. This looks like green slate. It's very nicely done. Conical roofs. The flatter the roof, and this is a good example of a flatter pitch, the more the vectors tend to push out the top of the wall, try to spread the top of the wall. And that's a real problem. The steeper the roof, the more the vectors come down, straight down the wall. The flatter the roof, the more of a horizontal component to kicking the walls out. To combat that, you see these cross ties, these timber ties here? To combat the spreading of the walls, there's usually ties like this that hold the top of the wall together, and that usually works. Now, I got a call from Michael Weeder working on a house in Jackson with at least a wing with a conical roof. I have a feeling it was not a silo, but pretty large diameter, like large enough to be a living room or a great room. And it was designed by ex-wife number 2, who was a great designer, and she held this very prestigious RIBA, R-I-B-A certificate, the Royal Institute of British Architects. You know, hey, I'm not mocking it. To some people, it carries a lot of weight. It's a prestigious credential. What happened was, and I always thought this was unfortunate, when she came back to America after working for an architect in Cornwall, she had a RIBA certificate, but she let it expire because America did not have a reciprocity agreement with England, allowing her to get an American license just because she had a RIBA certificate. However, and she told me this, and I believe her, had she gone to Canada, which is just 3 inches away from us here, had she gone to Canada with her RIBA certificate, they would have given her a Canadian license. Now, the Canadian license does indeed enjoy reciprocal status with the American licenses. So if she were willing to go through this extra step, get the Canadian license first, she would have had an American license. Anyway, this conical roof job is hers. And I get a call from the contractor. His name is Michael Weeder. Michael's a good friend of mine. I love him to death. He's a Sicilian Goomba, just like me. He's like a brother I never had. He calls me up, and he says, "Can I pick your brains for a minute?" I said, "Well, I don't know how many brains I have left at this point, but go ahead." He says, "I'm working on this conical roof job with your ex." I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, she had it nicely braced at the top of the wall, so the wall didn't kick out and fall over. But the owner, when she saw these braces, doesn't want them there. She wants it gone. She wants it all the way open to the peak." I said, "Yeah." He says, "So how am I going to do this without spreading the top of the wall?" I said, "Why don't you call her?" He says, "Because I know you can solve this." And he's right. Not only can I solve it, I solved it in 30 seconds. I said, "Michael, when Michelangelo was building the dome of St. Peter's, the higher the heavy masonry got, the more he noticed that the bottom was bulging out and cracking." He goes, "Yeah, what does that have to do with this?" I said, "Michelangelo had chain forged. The links were 3 feet long, very heavy chain forged. and he put 3 girdles of chains at the base of the stone dome to keep it together and from busting out. He goes, yeah, so? I said, here's what you got to do on your roof. Go to the hardware store. Get enough aircraft cable to go around this circumference twice and then some. Get some strong turnbuckles. Put it at the top of your wall and tighten it down. Tighten it down good. And when you build your roof soffit at the top of the wall, you will have hidden this tension tie, these aircraft cables. It's a perfect place to hide them, and it will keep your wall from spreading. He goes, my God, why isn't that an ingenious solution? I said, it is. That's why you called me, isn't it? He says, yeah, thanks a lot. And he's trying to get off the phone. I said, I'm going to send you a bill. He goes, what do you mean? It took you 2 minutes. I said, Michael, you cheap fucking son of a bitch. Listen to me. You're not paying for the 2 minutes I was on the phone with you. You're paying for the semester I spent in Renaissance and Baroque architecture history. You're paying for the degree. You're paying for my internship. You're paying for my license. You're paying for decades and decades worth of experience and expertise. That's why you called me, isn't it? Because you knew I had the knowledge and expertise to solve this for you in 3 seconds. So it's not about the time. It's about the investment somebody made in his own time to be able to solve this for you quickly. Okay? He goes, okay, send me a bill. Well, I never sent him a bill because he's my friend. But I wanted him to know. I wanted him to learn the lesson here that you don't lay siege to a man's expertise because he paid dearly for that. And in many times, it's the only thing in this world he's got to sell. So all you brain pickers, all you parasites, all you Klingons, all you looters out there, the very least you can do is offer to pay. Offer to pay. You know, I had an open door policy in my office where, because I was so good at structural stuff, I told contractors that if you have trouble sizing a beam, come by. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for nothing. I'd rather you have a safe beam than you kill a whole family because of some stupid decision you made. So there was one guy in particular, Jim Soroka, a Russian guy. He used me a lot for sizing beams over the years. He'd come in every once in a while, and I have this software. We can chase down the loads. I can give him what he needs. And he says, what do I owe you? I said, oh, Jim, just go in peace. God bless you. Well, this happened all the time with Jim, but shortly after his visit to my office, he would send me in the mail a $50 gift certificate to Bellini's restaurant, the best Italian restaurant in town. And that was the mark of a gentleman. He was well bred, well raised, I accepted it gratefully. I think he did the right thing from his point of view. And there's just not enough of that. I didn't demand anything from him, but on his own, he did that for me, and that pleased me. And I had another contractor, a post and beam builder, Tom Stryker. Excellent post and beam builder. That's got a great pair of hands. He would come into the office often, and we'd check out some of his beams, the sizes. And he'd always ask, what do I owe you? I said, oh, Tom, don't worry about it. Just go. Well, years and years later, ex-wife number 2 and I were building a straw bale house. Yeah, straw bale house. It won a $10,000 cash prize in the New England Design Competition hosted by Trust Joyce McMillan. It was a really nice house. And I needed someone with a crane. You know how timber framers have these cranes. I said, Tom, I need you for 2 days up at my job. He goes, no problem. We had everything ready for him. We tried to make it as idiot-proof as we could. He came in, and he hoisted everything up in short order, and we were well on our way. And when he was done at the second day, I said, send your invoice to my office. And he said, are you kidding? After all the work you've done for me for free, do you think I'm going to send you a bill? And this is what it's like, networking in a small town. People take care of the people who take care of them, and we take care of the people who take care of us. It's not about cutthroat, going for the last nickel you can get. It's about taking care of your neighbors. Because remember, in the end, we're all here to take care of each other. All right. God bless you. I love you all. Take good care.